Hey family, what's up? Joseph Baba Ifa, Our Roots podcast, where only the strongest roots see the light. Botanica candles and more. Be sure to subscribe because we are live.
Whoa! It is Sunday, everybody. Hello,
Yeah,
everybody.
Sunday fun day.
This is for everyone, not
Love
just the
it.
members.
I love
So
it.
if you are in the chat, make sure you say hi
Sound
and
off.
where you are watching from. We have people from everywhere on the planet watching, so make sure you say hello. And guys, just to give you guys a heads up, sometimes these shows get a little hectic, so super chats are welcome if you do want your questions immediately shot to the top. It's real easy. And also don't forget to join our membership program. We just did a VIP show around 3 o'clock and it was fantastic.
Absolutely.
So make sure you join that membership program. We had 3 separate tiers, all offering different perks today. So Joseph, what is going on?
Oh man, Sunday's a great day, man. Always a good time to see you and spend some time with you, get some new material and content out. We were able to crush out some videos and some episodes today, so excited about that in these upcoming weeks and getting closer to 100,000 subscribers. Brother Kanzu, Obuato, thank you.
So we're just saying hi to everybody in the chat there. So everyone's
Bendiciones.
coming in. It's Kathy.
Bendiciones, Big Kathy,
Yeah,
Aboru, J Palacio,
yeah, we got.
Lenny, greetings, Iboruboya,
Yeah.
Chief Zoe, Obuato, Dayanara, bendiciones. Oh, Cuban Daisy, hello.
And Trinity.
Trinity, Boru, Mihao,
There's more comments.
I'm sure.
My thing hasn't loaded yet, but
Oh Lord.
Hemp Lords in the chat.
Oh man,
You know.
OG.
Yeah, one of our
OG.
favorite names here. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Conshoes from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Very nice.
Hemp Lords from Charleston, South Carolina.
Cool.
We got Rochester, New York
Oh, The
checking
Rock,
in.
yeah.
Yeah, Cleveland, Ohio checking
Okay.
in. Yeah, we got people from all over.
It's
So
big, man. This Our Roots thing is getting big, man. I can't even believe we're almost at 6 figures, man. It's wild.
100K, dude.
We're getting there.
Bro, 100,000 people.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people that is? It's
100,000.
100,000. But like that's like you go to Dallas and you go to the stadium for the Cowboys
Feel it.
play at. It's 100,000 people that
Feel
know
it.
that know your face.
Looking
They
like
know the podcast.
looking like Romo. Ifa's Romo. Is
Yeah.
it Tony Romo?
Dak is the guy.
Oh, he's the new guy now. See,
Dak
that's-
Prescott, but he's
Man.
not very good.
These babies, oh man, these babies don't let me watch TV. I ain't seen nothing in a minute other
You
than
said
Yo Gabba Gabba.
You said Tony Romo. He
Yeah.
retired like 4 years ago.
God bless him. Yeah, I'm still watching Yo Gabba Gabba and Danny Go, and you know we need to get sponsored by them. I'm putting in a lot of hours. I've seen every episode 8 times.
Do you ever Gracie's Corner, man?
She's doing it. The bear hunt. Lola goes crazy
Bro.
for the bear hunt. Hi,
Great.
Loli. Love you.
Gracie's Corner is like, as an adult, I will rock out to
Oh
some
man,
Gracie's Corner.
the veggie song is crazy, man. It goes
I love
hard.
my veggies.
It goes
I
hard.
love
Bear
my
hunt,
veggies. Yeah.
dinosaur, the ants. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
All
Good for
right.
them.
We got Providence, Rhode Island, Fort Lauderdale, Miami,
Dale. Oh,
Georgia,
Dave.
Chicago,
Good
Brooklyn.
God. Oh man, VK.
Yeah, we
Shout out
got
to the home
Stockton,
team.
California.
Okay,
Yeah, we got so many people checking in.
that's what's up.
We got a couple questions. Someone left a question here way before we even started the
Love it.
podcast, so we're gonna start that one. But just guys, just again, super chats are welcome. So if you do see the chat getting a little congested, you can do the super chats, and your question will get popped right up to the top.
Yeah.
All right. So the first question here. Here you go.
Ocheni Lobe, Boru. My son and I would like to know who is Yewa, if you can, please. So I highly recommend. There's a great episode on the podcast about Yewa. Basically, Yewa was Olodumare's preferred daughter, and Shango kind of, did what he does. And he kind of changed the course of her life. I highly recommend the video. But she's an Orisha that has a lot to do with Egun, earth, the decomposition process. She's very closely related to the Orisha Obanani, who also was treated the same way by Shango. We love Shango, by the way, but he has a past. So I would recommend highly that episode. It's going to talk about everything you want to know. And if you want to go further, definitely I recommend an Ifa coaching. But, from a superficial level, everything will be there. The only reason I would recommend a coaching at that point is if somebody was interested in receiving her or knowing the nuances as far as, consecration.
Okay. This question is from SM.
Very nice. Can you share any information about Omo or Shumare? Basically, I've never actually met one. I know that in Brazil and in Candomblé, it's a very, active cult and a very active, group. In Afro-Cuban Lukumi practice, Oshumare, I have heard of it being given, but I also heard that a lot of our secrets came via Brazil. Apart from whatever was left in Cuba, it's kind of more of a symbolic figure within our literature and our mythology. It's the rainbow, it's the snake, it's the promise after the flood. He was crowned, or she was crowned, however you want to look at it. It's pretty ambiguous. In the Odu of Iroso tu Alara, if I recall, is where people first started getting initiated into the priesthood of Oshumare. It does exist, or at least it did exist. I'm not sure. But basically that, it's pretty entry level information. It's pretty superficial, at least within our practice, because it's not something that's uber, expressed, but it can be received.
Okay, we got a message from a new member. This message is on the other screen, so there you go.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Chris.
Thank you very much, Chris. Iboru Boya, I'm a new member. Thank you for joining. And I wanted to know what suggestions or recommendations do you have for an Omo Shango with Eyeunle, Tonti, Osa, and Itawa Shango? Well, Chris, the way we were trained within the Erindi Logun Oracle, we only pay attention to the first sign or number because that's the number that actually is released from the hand of the initiate. Being that Erindi Logun is not a double number, it's a singular number, as Irete Kutang states. So you have Eyeunle or Unle or Ejiobe on top of Shango. Unle says respect your elders just like you respect your minors, right? Or your students. It's an Odu of respect and organization. Really, the person has an open door or carte blanche when it comes to the spirituality. If you want to be an Oriate, go ahead. If you want to be a Babalao, go ahead. The biggest thing is organization, figuring out what are you going to be motivated enough to do to the point where you're going to study endlessly to perfect your craft. So whatever it is that you choose to do, choose something and focus on it for a good amount of time so you don't become a student of everything and a professor of nothing.
Ooh, yeah. I like that.
So,
all right, here we go.
Only is great.
Next question.
Aboru Aboye, my mono sign is Irete Ka. Any advice you can impart? Irete Ika or Irete Ka, it's an Odu that speaks of the war that never ended. It speaks of the war between water and land mass, right? The person has to be very careful to not persist upon situations that are dead or continuing fights that are really over other than our ego or the other person's ego. We have to know when to throw up the white flag there because it can be very counterproductive. The person should and has to receive Olokun, whether it be Orisha Olokun or the Olokun that's given by Babalawo. But Olokun is probably the most important deity that anybody's going to receive there outside of obviously Oromila or their guardian Orisha or Eshu.
All right, this one is from Alex.
Awesome. Crepo. Can't wait to have you as a part of the house. I want to learn the plants and herbs used in the religion. Can you recommend a book? We're in the process of writing the book. But I do recommend the membership program because we have a series that goes over 21 various plants that are identified within Ifa and Orisha that can be utilized. So highly recommend that until the book is released. I'm sure there are other books out there. There's a lot of talented, educated people as well. But I haven't found a piece of literature that I can completely tell any of my viewers or my godchildren or students to take to the bank because I just haven't read them all and I don't really have that knowledge as far as what other people have written.
Okay. All right. This one is from Trinity. Trinity's a VIP with us.
Yeah, absolutely, my godson. Any stories of Shango dealing with anxiety or being overwhelmed? How does he overcome? I would say that Shango lived a perpetual anxiety. He was afraid of a lot of things. When you look at the Odu of Babao Kanameji, where Shango was born with fear, it was through Ifa and understanding the divine truths that he was able to separate what he felt versus what was reality. I think it also led to Shango making some pretty, rash decisions. Whether it was being unfaithful to his various wives or getting into conflicts unnecessarily, he lived a perpetual anxiety. So the way he was able to overcome it was through Ifa, and you look at the Odu Oturariko where he would, basically find joy in scaring others because he was in reality scared and trying to mask it. It wasn't until Orumila was able to identify it and force Shango to face his fears that he was able to overcome that and find peace and tranquility. So I have to recommend Ifa and Orumila's advice there for all the children of Shango.
Shout out to Nacho.
Blessings, mihao, bendiciones.
Okay, I got Maria.
Thoughts on the Odu Oshemeji? Oshemeji's wonderful. Oshemeji, I mean, if the person hasn't initiated into Orisha, I think they should. Some people would say in Oshemeji was where the first Orisha process was successful because Oromila and Oshun's son was sick. Ifa said that Iking couldn't save him. So they went to Yemaya to initiate their son, and who directed the Orisha process was Shango via him divining with the cowrie shell. Babao Shemeji says the person needs a priesthood title of some sort, ideally, for their health. And the person there is not closed out in any Orisha, whether it's revealed in Orisha with the Odu Oshe in any of its combinations, or in Babao Shemeji in their hand of Ifa. So the person is born for Orisha and maybe other things depending on their qualities.
Okay, here we go from Javon.
Javon, Baba, can you speak on Eshu Jakima? I'm not familiar with that Eshu path. The name seems a little bit convoluted to be Yoruba per se. I haven't experienced that one, but mind you, there's over 321, so forgive me. That's not one that I've, in a couple decades have encountered.
Okay. So we got about 78 people
Nice.
watching. I think it's time. I think we should go ahead and deviate for just a quick second about the raffle that we are going to be having. It's going to be something very, very interesting for all of us. So let's put. I'm going to put the thing on the screen, and then Joseph's going to pop his head in there too.
Absolutely.
So
Oh yeah, the little pop in for sure.
There we go, and boop.
So guys, here we have it. We're getting closer to 100,000 subscribers, and Miss Boroye had a great idea, like she always does. That
Always.
we're gonna
100%.
go ahead. Absolutely, we're gonna go ahead and do a raffle, where people are gonna have the chance. 25 people, or 50, I'm seeing, are gonna be able to join a 4-week virtual class or workshop with myself, going over various topics of Ifa and Orisha. So the way we're going to be able to do that, you have to review us on Google for Botanica Candles and More. Phil's going to provide the link. And you have to mention Joseph Baba Ifa, Our Roots Podcast, Botanica Candles and More. And you need to email that you did this so that we can kind of, enter you into the raffle.
Make sure you write your name.
In your YouTube name as well. To, it's going to, from what I understand, be done via Zoom. So it'll be nice to have everybody. And we just want to provide an opportunity for us to, be able to interact on a more profound level and go over things that obviously we're all interested in, which is Orisha and Ifa.
So just a heads up, I actually pinned the comment that as the link to the YouTube, not the YouTube, for the Google review.
Awesome.
It's also in the description. So if you don't want to click away, it also is in the description as well. So
very nice.
You guys can
very excited about that. Us reaching this huge milestone because of you guys. So we want to make sure that we're stimulating you in all the ways that you like from an educational standpoint for sure.
I just want to ask people: if this is your first time catching us live, hit 1. I just want to see.
Absolutely.
I've noticed a lot of repeat, which is great. But I want to see if you have anybody new.
Absolutely, with such an influx.
If this is your first time watching us live, go and hit 1 in the chat, and we'll chat you out, okay? All right, here we go. Back to Trinity.
Awesome. Any other interesting stories in Oyekumbika besides the 2 brothers and the river? With Oyekumbika, remember he was the assistant of the director of the funeral rites to his father, Babao Oyekumeji. In that sign, unfortunately, Oshun and Orula lost a son. So it speaks of the importance of solidifying relationships with our parents and children. Oyekumbika, is a lot of information. It's a very profound Odu. It's also one of the Odus where, Egungun first actually ate. So that's why it's such an important deity to be able to receive there, because it's going to open things up for every other goal that the person has.
Okay, well, it looks like we got a lot. Oh, wrong button.
Oh, gosh. You like the elevator music.
I do.
You got that thing on Revolver.
But it's the same button I have for the DJ. So
very nice.
No super chat right now, but I want to shout out all the new people here. So we got Lenny,
thank you.
first time watching. We got Noid RBG Zombie.
Very nice.
We got The Great Thinker.
That's a candidate for best handle.
All right, we got Cuban Daisy.
Hello.
We got S. George.
Okay.
We got Juan Costa.
Very nice.
So these are all people the first time viewers, so we appreciate you guys all joining. And if you haven't had a chance yet, there is more. You can join a membership platform.
Absolutely.
With so much more that's available. So, all right, this one is from Bro Conchu.
Very nice. Interesting. I was also reading, I heard some say Oshumare is the female equivalent of Olodumare. Interesting. Yeah, it's a great theory. Great hypothesis for sure. I mean, with a deity like that, it's so ambiguous. I mean, it really comes down to interpreting it in a way that actually proves a point from a moral standpoint, with a pataki or anything like that. A deity like that is far beyond anything of gender and whatnot, but I think that's a great idea for sure.
All right, here we go. This is from Ogun B. He's an OG here. So.
Oh, man. Iboruboya, Oluo. Any info on Omoe Legua with Osa Obe? It's my mother's sign. Oh, man, God bless her. The most important thing there, I have a goddaughter that is Osala Fobeo in the hand of Ifa. And she was doing well before. She's not a daughter of Eshu. She's a daughter of Oya. And I remember she was asking me, like, different things, like how she can invest in herself more spiritually. And I told her in that Odu, what she needed to receive was Eshu Ni, or the two-faced Eshu. And I tell you, from the moment she received it, within 3 to 4 months, her life completely changed. So I make the same recommendation for mom, because you can mount that for her and consecrate it for her, no problem. It'll change her life. Just receiving a certain icon can really change things. But the two-faced Eshu was born there, where Eshu and Shango joined forces back to back to be able to find Olofing in the forest. So I highly recommend that for mom. It's going to benefit her in every way, not just economic, but health, protection, solidarity within herself and her spirituality. So I would say that everybody in that Odu needs the two-faced Eshu or Eshu Ni, or however you call it, because some people have other names, Eshu Ijelu, Agrielu, however you want to term it. But the most basic one, Eshu Ni, should be more than enough to suffice for her. That's what I would give my mom.
We're almost at 100 watching right now. So
oh my gosh.
Shout out to everybody in the chat.
Share the video, guys. Like it. Push that algorithm. Subscribe, etc.
All right. So this is from one of the new people here. It's a little longer, so I'll read it if it gets
nice.
cut out.
If it's a gift from the Olodumare, how can someone give you Ifa? This is how a lot of initiates get in a position to not
do nothing but take advantage of people.
Absolutely. And that's why you really have to get with an establishment that has a reputation. Just because something is present doesn't mean it's given. So, for example, in Hialeah, right, I'd see these mango trees in my neighbor's backyard. Just because I could go and get them myself doesn't mean I was allowed to. So Ifa is the same thing. Just because you're able to, possibly get the materials to make an initiation happen, if you don't know how to, then you're never going to really get the full effects, And to be frank with you, why should somebody gift you all of the years of knowledge and sacrifice that it took to gain it? Especially if Olodumare didn't even give it for free to the Meis to Orula to the Orishas, and the Orishas to us.
Got it. All right, here we go. From Kenneth Cryostone.
Awesome. How about Oturawani? Any takes? One of the people I love the most on earth, man, my godson Eric Oturawani has this Odu. He's a really lovely person. It's a lovely Odu. Unfortunately, it speaks of one of the roughest processes that we go through, which is the mourning process. The most important deities that anyone's going to attend to there is Egungun, and if they're initiated in it, Oro. So definitely the person has to have a very strong connection with their ancestors and needs to solidify that aspect of themselves for them to see any real progress. So they need their Egungun icon ASAP.
All right. This one is also from Ogun B.
Awesome. What is referred to in this information from the sign Irete Untelu? The irradiation of the Babalawu's Eguns to the Moses. The way I've always understood it is, what it's saying is that the energy that the ancestral Babalawus provide will radiate upon the person. So the person actually has Babalawus within their ancestry or within their spiritual court, not in a conventional sense like some other spirits, but it's saying that the person has a very strong ancestral link spiritually or biologically to Ifa. And they need to, make sure Ifa is a focal point so they can receive all those benefits. So attending Orula should suffice, apart from Egungun.
Okay, this was one from Glory Fee.
What would you say is your most profound dream or vision of the Orisha? Oh, wow. Oh, man. These questions are if you notice, if you ask me about a sign, I'm like, yeah, I'm spitting facts. But, moments like this, it makes me really go back. There was a couple. I'll never forget, I had a dream one time. I was in a supermarket. It was Sedano's. You know, every Hialeah. I don't know if we have dreams about Sedano's or nightmares. But I'll never forget, I was having a dream, and there was this woman that I was viewing from behind, and she was dressed in all yellow, and she had an African head wrap on. And I remember looking at her. I'm like, wow, what a beautiful woman, you know? I was single in the dream. I'll never forget thinking, like, wow, what a beautiful woman. And she turned around, and she had a baby in her hands. And the baby kind of looked like me when I was a baby. And I looked at her, and I said, who are you? And she said, I'm your mother. And it was Oshun, you know? So that was one of the... And the ironic part about it is Oshun didn't look the classic Beyonce, you know, esque archetype that you would think. She was gorgeous, but in a much more natural way. She didn't have any makeup on. She actually had some gray hair, and I couldn't think of anything more beautiful. And I remember there was another dream where I actually was climbing a mountaintop with my father, and we made it to the top of the mountain together. And I remember there was a cave, and you know, I said, Dad, let's go. And he said, I can only take you to this point. I can't go in the cave with you. And I went into the cave, and when I went into the cave, I saw things that I didn't understand until I did Ifa. And my dad actually played a huge role in me becoming a babalawo, but he never did himself, being that he has different spiritual practices. So those are two of the most impactful dreams I've ever had, you know, and then to the point where I can recollect them right now. You know, I remember actually feeling my hands on the rock, or, you know, embracing the woman that I met in the supermarket who was trying to buy a pumpkin, ironically. So it's just stuff that always, you know, it sits with you and it stays with you. Really divine stuff.
All right. Here we go. From Citrine.
Aboru Aboye, how can I find an Ifa group near me? It's hard. You know, the internet is the first thing you want to think about, but you don't know how legitimate that group is if they're based on the internet anyway. Not saying they can't be, but and then you think about like fraternization, socialization, but it might not be an ethical group. You know, a lot of the people that have joined us have come from around the country, just to be able to get that which is authentic and guaranteed. You know, these are all your different options, but sometimes you have to work from the outside in, unfortunately, with the way our culture is kind of transpiring with social media.
All right, here we go.
Hi, Baba. Any advice for someone who has Ika Meji and how to manage 3 Oris? I'm not sure what you mean by 3 Oris. Maybe 3 heads in the house, you know? Just anybody that's a head of household, you know, we're all going through the same thing, just trying to deal with personalities and putting people in a position to always succeed. Baba Ika Meji is a great Odu. It's a lot of information there. The big thing, I think, with Ika Meji, above all else, spiritually or whatnot, is health. And that Odu is actually where cancer manifested within the stomach. So that Odu, apart from Otrubo Meji, is one of the Odus where you clean the stomach with the pumpkin to avoid that. And you could offer it to Oshun or the river. So before anything else, I would go ahead and assimilate that habit for yourself.
All right. Noid says they have plenty of questions. So go ahead and keep them. Give them comment, but here's one more.
Have you ever reached Ifa Yelele? I'm not familiar with that. I mean, as far as reaching it or reading it, or maybe, you know, sometimes you may have an Apple phone, maybe, you know, it typoed or word corrected on that one.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll skip that. Correct yourself. All right.
More info on Osang. What specifically would you like to see more about Osang? Osang's the Orisha of the herbs within our practice. He's an all-male fraternity. You know, he actually has a lot to do with fertility, health. I think the way I'd respond to that is Osang is not meant to be used for negativity or only for negativity. I mean, you could use any Orisha for negativity, but you really don't want to tap into Osang's negative space, because to pull that icon back out of that energy is very difficult and it takes a long time. So it's better to avoid it altogether.
Okay. All right, here we go. From Chris Smarno again.
Any suggestion for Omo Shango with Obeyono and Owofakang? Well, ironically, you know, I mean, that Odu, it's so funny. Me and my wife were just talking about this Odu in this combination the other
Hold on, Joe. I got to stop
night.
you.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
This is different. This has never been done before.
Oh, Lord.
So we got Juju Ogonda Yakun has gifted 5
what a
memberships.
Boss.
So
what a
you
boss.
get another one.
What a boss. Juju, you're killing him. Oh, my God. Ask a question, please.
All right. So back to...
Yeah, absolutely. if the person has the characteristics, I would do Ifa. Because unfortunately, the son of Shango there went through a lot of heartbreak. And that sign was where his wife faked death to be able to leave him for her lover. Because in Obeyono, originally, do a little stomach tap there for Obeyono, was where they would bury the dead, but they wouldn't bury them. They would tie them to sticks. It's where the Egungun icon first manifested, where wood started consuming blood. So they faked their death, and they went to the next land over. So Shango thought his wife was dead. So there was an epidemic that happened. They did divination. Obe Ogunda was revealed. And Ifa said they needed to perform sacrifice with okra. Shango sent his son to the next marketplace over, being that they didn't have any. And guess who he saw selling okra was his mother, Oya. And Oya acted like she didn't know her son. And the prince went back and told Shango. And when Shango showed up at the market, she couldn't deny who she was to him. So he dragged her and the lover, and he threw both of them in a hole and buried them alive. That's why Obeyono is known as death. De tarro nace la sepultura, or el sepulcro. So it's saying that the first hole was dug due to infidelity. So in my opinion, if I was a son of Shango with that Odu, I would try to change that Odu if you're able to. If not, definitely perform that abo with the okra in the very specific fashion that it states with your elders or whoever attends to you, so that we can avoid situations like that. But in that Odu, the person has to really reinvest in their relationship. Oh, God.
All right, we got a $10 super chat from Bro Kanchu.
Thank you very much, Brother Kanzu. Oboado, I have watched all of your works, and first let me say, Dupe Pupo, it's reciprocated. I love how you bridge the gap of Lukumi and Isheshe, of course. What would be the difference between Irumole and Orisha? So Orisha means selected head. So it's referring to somebody who was born and extraordinary, and when they died, they deified them into a god. Perfect example of this is Aganju. You know, he was extraordinarily large, had medicine, feats of strength. He was like the Yoruba Hercules. Irung Mole means I Orung Imole, which means from heaven comes the light, right? So it's making reference to the ancestral energies that emanated from the sun that were first in heaven before, manifesting on earth in Orisha if they did, or some of them stayed in heaven and never came down. So a perfect example of both is like Shango. Shango had an ancestral energy in heaven and then manifested as Orisha on earth. Eshu, etc. Like there's a bunch of them, but there's a bunch of them that stayed up there as well. So that's really the difference,
All right, this is from the greatest thinker.
Great name. Obeada in relationships. Oh man. There's a certain position that was born in Obeade, ugly name. It's the Odu of the pimps. Yeah, and the panderers. So what happened there was...
That's our new podcast, Pimps and Panderers.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay, fine.
We're going to get off... Jesus.
I'm joking.
And, so in that Odu was where Oshun married a man that was younger to her, but she didn't realize he was in the sex industry. And he ended up becoming very toxic, abusing her, taking all her money. He was basically a very bad gigolo. And one day he actually slapped her. And she went running to Orula for divination. Obeate was revealed where Ifa said the relationship was over, and to be able to save her life, she should leave him. In some versions, she did and married Orula and was able to recover from her PTSD. In other versions, she stayed with the guy, and the guy ended up killing her in a domestically abusive situation. Obeate says the most important thing is making all of the women in our life happy, whether it's the Iamio Shoronga, whether it's Oshun, whether it's our wives, our daughters, our mothers, our sisters. Obeate cannot have issues with women. And that Odu is why women have to do half as much to get twice as much as men from Orula. Orula there always does more for women than men because he realizes that they're of a purer heart than men, ultimately. So that's the best advice I can give there. Work on your relationship, reinvest in your relationship, and avoid unnecessary disputes, and don't allow third parties into your life.
Yeah. Hey, quick thing with everybody in the chat. If you are a returning member, returning viewer, what's been your favorite episode so far?
Yeah.
I want to know what your favorite
episode is. Or what do you want
an
episode on as well?
Yeah, and while we're taking a quick little deviation, just want to remind everybody about the raffle.
Don't forget the raffle. Do it now.
The link for that is pinned to the top. So just make sure, and it's also in the description. So if you're watching this afterwards, or not live. It's in the description. You can just click it and leave your review, and make sure you just follow the directions here below, or in the picture right there. And yeah, 4-week virtual IFA.
Exciting stuff. Can't wait to see you guys. Can't wait to interact, hear all your questions, and get this first little experiment of Joseph Baba Ifa Academy, Our Roots Academy, and really go over the themes that you guys want clarified. So thank you for subscribing.
All right, here we go.
EP, can you talk about why certain Odus say a woman should marry a Babalawo? Those have to be taken with a grain of salt as well. Just because your Odu says you have to marry a Babalawo doesn't mean you have to necessarily. You kind of have to see how life responds to your dating choices and marital choices. But if it is something that's ultimately destined for whatever reason, it might be spiritually. It might be that it's not because the person's a Babalawo that you need to marry them, but maybe the person that's meant for you is ultimately a Babalawo, It could also be referring to maybe your best option from a romantic standpoint is somebody involved in the spirituality. At least they'll have hand of Ifa. So it has to be interpreted on all those levels because, every Odu says that. So, it has to know how to be interpreted because I've met plenty of women that married brothers that were Orisha or Odiate, and they're happier with them than they could ever be with any of the Babalaos they've ever met. So, that has to be taken with a grain of salt, ethically.
All right, so I asked a question on what people's favorite podcasts were, and Ogun, Pimps, and Banners.
Oh, God.
Just joking.
You're horrible. How could you do that, Ogun? You're a civilized gentleman. You're an academician.
But their episodes, obviously the Ogun.
Everybody loves Rafiq, man. We're about to, Rafiq's doing it.
We got the Atutu Part 2.
Okay, awesome.
Also
definitely.
the first Atutu.
Yeah, we got to do a Part 2 on that one for sure.
Ifa and Diversity.
Yeah, with my godson Eric. Yeah, absolutely.
We got the Iami series.
Yeah, that one was popping. A lot of good information there.
The Shango and Eshu episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Luis. Yeah.
And maybe a video about herbs. You've done several of them.
You got to get in the membership program. I mean, we've done videos on Osaing. But maybe we could do one on herbs and the various uses, but I mean, something different from what we have in the membership program, like, something, more surface level, because in the membership program, we actually go into how you can use the herb, what Odus it manifested in, all of these different things, so you can really get the most out of it. But we might just do, we might do a podcast on herbs. Why not?
All right, the Grace Tinker has a question probably for me. They want to know, can you say the live stream?
Can we?
Well, this is literally, it'll be on forever. So it's not like it's going to go away or YouTube deletes it after it's live. So it'll always be here. It's just, you just click on the channel and click on our videos and you'll be able to find it. So
sure.
All right, so let's get back to the questions. Again, guys, Super Chats are open if you want your question to go to the top. So, Brian also says your channel is the truth. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. That's very kind. Thank you.
All right. So Ogunbi.
Oh, man. What are the top 5 most powerful Odu outside of the Medjis? Oh, man, you came to play. Okay, here we go. So, off the top of my head, if you read the book, they say that Owani Dawang or Owani Ogunda is the strongest sign outside of the Medjis because he was the only one that was able to defeat the Medji without anyone else's help. So Owani Ogunda. Some people say that Ochetura is the 17th Medji. So, I mean, metaphorically. So I'm going to put him in there as well because he was the one that made all of the Medjis kneel when they were like, oh, my God, if Oshun has a daughter, we're dead because it means the Iami are going to take over. And she ended up having the son known as Aking Osho, which means the witch, the warlock without fear, who was ultimately Eshu. Then you got to think Iworihuani and Irosoumbo because these were the 2 Odus that they had to go get, the Medjis had to go get to be able to defeat the Iami or Shoronga, right? Because they needed the witchcraft to be able to fight the witchcraft. And this is why in the Afro-Cuban Lukumi or Ebo, after the Medjis, Iworihuani and Irosoumbo are present. Oh, man, you're killing me with this number 5 because, gosh, let me just run through who's there. I'm going to go with Ogunda Bede because Ogunda Bede is where the concept of Metalofing was born, where it was Olofing's personal representative on earth, or God Almighty's personal representative on earth outside of the Medji. To the point where they say that Ogunda Bede's father was Baba Ofum Medji, and he was the one who came down. And honestly, you got to forgive me. I got to give a tie there because it might be Obetwa as well. It could be Obetwa or it could be Ogundawede. I can't choose between them. Yeah, I really can't. But I would say those are the top 5. Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't easy.
I know. All right. This one's a little cut off here, but I'll read the rest.
Anna Iboru, Baba, after the deaths of both of my abuelos, my condolences. This year I feel stagnant in my spiritual journey. How do
I get back to it? And it says Shango, been really depressed.
Absolutely, Mija. Well, my condolences, man. I remember the worst pain I've felt up until this point is the loss of my grandmother. She was my father. She was my friend. She was everything. I don't like to talk about it too much because I get emotional. But you gotta get out of the hole. You know, sometimes it is that crude. I thank God for my wife and my kids because if it wasn't for them, I would have became uber depressed. You know, but just having to work and provide and her support, I was able to, pretty seamlessly get out of that depression. I was able to deal with it little by little rather than just wallowing in it. But the bóveda is going to be huge. If you don't have a bóveda, we need to set one up so you can start working through that pain. But you got to get out of it. There's really no other way around it. If at least 3 months has gone by, it's time to hop back on the horse, because if not, it's never going to end.
Shout out to the 105 people watching live right now. So.
Yeah, lots of strength, Anna.
All right, here we go.
Baba di baba, my hand of Ifa Odu is Otowa Ofung. I'm going to guess he means Otura or she, forgive me. Can you give me information and tips towards it? Otura Ofung is also known as Otura Daekoi or Otura Dakoi. That Odu says that the person has to be careful to not be overly aggressive to the point where the ambiance that they're involved in socially rejects them. Because Otura Dakoi has Egun influence from an aggressive standpoint, because it speaks of the other tribes of Africa, such as the Efik, the Efut, the Ebibio. It speaks of the Awakwas, right? So it says that the person has ancestry or energies around them that can make them very aggressive or misunderstood, to the point where they have to really have a gungung and channelize that, so that they can kind of flow a little better in their social circles, because there's somebody that, is kind of rejected because they're a little different, their vibe. All right.
Here you got, this is from Jovan.
Can you expound on the lifting of the plates from Ofun Yemilo? Well, with situations like the plates, I can't get into it too much here. But I know Ofun Yemilo, speaks heavily about the Itutu process. Egung, the plates, play a huge role when it comes to, dispersing negative energy and helping spiritualities transition. I really can't go too much into that because that's ceremonial process to a certain degree. So I recommend a coaching there, not a shameless plug, but I can't get too much into that because I don't know who's initiated here and who's not.
Understood. Okay. Let's see here. It's so many questions, so I got to scroll all the way.
Take it.
Here we go.
Kobe, Boru, can you speak on the difference between Ita Ocha and Ita Ifa? The only thing that changes, sincerely, is one is the voice of Orumila or Olodumare, and the other is the voice of Orisha. One is going to be expressed in a double sign, such as Obeate or Obe whatever, and the other one of Ita is going to be a singular Odu of Orisha. Ultimately, your Ita of Orisha cannot say anything different than what Orumila said in your hand of Ifa. Because technically, your Ita of Orisha begins in your hand of Ifa. Orumila is the one he is the kickoff, right? So there really is no difference other than mode of employ, but they're going to say the same things if both parties did so ethically and competently. Because there's only one truth. There's only one light.
All right.
Nice. Here we go. When will you do Odimeji, and can you give a general message for the women of this sign? It's so crazy. I got to keep it a buck. We recorded that episode today.
Hold on. How do we pronounce their name? I hope they
don't
hear us.
Gomez.
Okay,
there you go.
All right.
But it's so funny. You could tell that you're Odimei because of the influence of Egung and knowing that we did that today without telling you. We actually recorded that video today. For the women of that sign, they must be fanatics of Orumila. it's not that you have to. I highly recommend you watch the episode because it's coming out soon. I don't know when because we have another live. I don't know how the schedule is fluctuating, but within the next month, that one should be released. But it is recorded. You must be a fanatic of Orumila. I'm not saying you have to give up your other beliefs, like if you're a scratched palera or any of these other things. But Orumila must be the focus. But that doesn't mean we have to throw out the prenda or any of those things, which are themes that we actually spoke about in the video. Because when Odimei comes out, especially for the daughters of Yemaya there, the scripture says throw away the prenda, throw away everything you had before. Please don't do that. It's about being organized, but you have to make sure Orumila is the focus because nothing is going to give you better benefits than Ifa in that Odu. So I'm excited for you to see it, you know. Ask another question. Oh, God, here we go.
My bad.
There you go.
But we got another one, though.
Absolutely. Kenneth, I'm almost Shango. Any tip on Oshetura and the knife? Any tips? That's a blessed Odu, brother. I mean, that sign was where Shango overheard the Mejis, and this is why I answered how I did to Ogumbi, because Oshetura was one of the Odus that went to war with the Mejis, and Shango helped him win the war or avoid them from wanting to start the war altogether, because in that sign, the Mejis were angry because Oshetura was the owner of the Ierosung powder, and his prices were hiked, you know? And they went to complain to Olodumare. Shango overheard the plot, and he threw a lightning bolt at the house, and at the point where it struck, Oshetura stayed imprinted in earth. That's why when you perform Boeria Ateo, as we do in the Lukumi tradition, Oshetura is always in the same place, below Eshu to the right, or to his left, if you turn it upside down. So, for the child of Shango with Oshetura in the Kwanado, I can't think of a better Odu. The only thing I implore of you, brother, is please learn to do Ebo. And if you know how to do Ebo, please do Ebo at least once a month from whatever sign you are of Ifa. You know, and that's going to bring you the greatest results, because without the Ebo, Chetura, you know, he really didn't account. Mayubonas or Chetura. May God bless Abetico wherever he is. And another thing is, please don't yell. You know, try to avoid, you know, sparking your character or getting heated, because that'll cause you to lose the ashe. That's what Shango is telling the person there. But great Odu. I love that Odu.
All right, here we go.
Can you talk about Apataki when Yemayan or Lokun in the sign Iwori Wosaso when it comes to financial matters? Absolutely. So in that sign, Olokun was, I don't know if you could call it the owner, but he was like the director of the bay, where ships would come in and out and commerce and all these other things. But he was overwhelmed. So he was losing money and opportunities. People were becoming frustrated with him. Yemaya wanted the position to assist him. She did divination. Iwori Wosaso was revealed. She performed at Bo, made offerings to Olokun. They had a meeting of the minds where Yemaya showed him a bunch of innovative ways to kind of automate the system to where he wouldn't have to do anything. She would handle everything, and, you know, they would make more money than ever before, and the people would be happier than before. He acceded to the idea, and till this day, it's where maritime commerce first perfected itself. So, for example, for anybody who's seen the Bay of Havana or Tampa Bay or Miami, you know, the ports, all of that was born in Iwori Wosaso. So there's a very specific ebo there that you'd want your elders or your professionals to perform for you that involves Yemayan or Lokun, so that if you're looking to start a business, promote any of these things, Iwori Wosaso is one of the most prosperous Odus there is, based just on that Odu. And Yemayan or Lokun have to be a focus.
All right, here we go. This is from Bamani Poon Soto.
There we go. What is the best way to handle other family members' opinions when it comes to Ifa, especially if they have a different
religion?
I mean, you really don't have to handle it. I mean, educate yourself as much as you can, but like, I have family members that bring up pointless debates about my spirituality who really have nothing better to do than to just, you know, debate. I'm at a stage in my life where I really don't speak unless I have to, and I really don't have time to waste air, because I'd rather be spending time with my kids. So with people like that, you know, there's really nothing to say. You know, you have your opinions, I have mine. Nothing I say is going to change your outlook. Nothing you say is going to change my outlook. So let's talk about what unifies us and not what divides us, because we don't have time to waste. If you think I'm going to hell, great. If I think you're practicing the wrong spirituality, great. Let's just focus on the yams, you know? So that's what I would say, but that's just my character. I don't have necessarily patience for that, you know, but that's just me. Horns.
Did that scare you?
I'm Otura Mei. Oh, Otura Meye. Oh, okay, absolutely. Otura Leni. Okay, awesome. Oh, that's okay. I think that's the person who has Ochetura and the Quanado.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful combination, man. Absolutely. And then you look at what Otura Wani says about Shango. In that sign, there's a pataki where Shango, or the king of Oyo, was told to wear a necklace of red beads or seeds. I recommend wearing the Eweriye necklace or the Peonia necklace there. I actually recommended it for my godson Eric when he did Ifa. But the biggest mistake Otura Wani or Otura Mele made was not offering food to Eshu when Eshu came to the palace disguised as a dignitary. And Eshu lit the palace on fire, stole the necklace, all these different things, and it ultimately ended up in Otura Wani losing everything. So the big rule in Otura Wani is when people come to your house, you have to offer them food. No questions asked. And you have to make sure Eshu is very happy because that is probably the most important deity there. He's who runs Otura Wani besides Egungun and Oro.
Okay. I've been watching the chat, right?
Okay.
And Noid Zombie is one of our new people here.
Awesome.
I think them and Ogumbi just became best friends.
Okay. We unify people. We're like the United Nations of Ifa, bro.
So shout out to y'all too.
What a boy, what you say.
All right, here we go.
Any tips on dealing with Eshu when you're in Omo but not crowned? Just stay consistent. Eshu is a pariah. We'll never fully understand him. We'll never fully make him happy. Make sure he gets fed once a year, a blood sacrifice. Keep up with him on a weekly basis. Learn as much as you can about yours, specifically based on your sign, and hang on until you can crown. It'll alleviate. But you guys, along with the sons of Shango, in my opinion, have some of the hardest time because, like, the son of Shango carries an axe on his head. That's not an easy balancing act. And then the son of Eshu or the child of Eshu has the expanse of the absence of light of the universe in their subconscious. So that's really hard, so you just got to be patient with yourself, All
right, we're running to like the last 15 or so minutes here, guys.
Wow, it's flown by.
Super chats are open. We still got a ton of comments in the queue here.
Nice.
But also just don't forget, we have a 4-week virtual Ifa class. Just make sure you click that link. It's pinned to the top, or it's in our description. We're going to be having a raffle. 50 winners are going to be announced on the November 25th episode at 6 p.m. So just follow the directions. Real simple.
Reviews.
If you've already left a review, Google will not let you leave another one. So you need to edit your review.
Absolutely.
And just send an email to let us know who you are and where your review is.
Absolutely, with your YouTube handle.
All right. So, okay, next time. Here we go.
Baba, what do you do when you do not dream at all? I give thanks because my dreams, like my Odu of Esekan Ola, has to pay a lot of attention to his dreams. Now, if I'm trying to dream, I'd probably put a glass of water. I'd probably try not to eat too late. Actually, I'd try to eat later because the later we eat, the more induced dreams become because our digestive system is active, so our brain doesn't rest. Not a really productive method, but it works. Maybe a white bath, something spiritual. Usually that kind of canal is kind of clogged or backed up. So, but a glass of water will usually do the trick, and a candle, oh man, definitely.
Have you seen those crazy AI videos that don't make sense at all? It's like all random things together. That's what my dreams are.
Okay. I think they owe you some money then,
my
Phil.
My dreams make no sense.
Yeah,
I had a dream last night about a red Chevy Beretta.
Okay.
The old car. It was
sure.
red, and that's it.
I mean, that's decent, man. Anything more, I don't know if we can handle it.
Yeah. But guess what? Here we go.
Oh man. There you go.
All right. I hope they don't hear us, Gomez.
Very nice.
Says another.
For my husband, his is Owani Wofun. He's confused that it mostly highlights protecting Yemayan or Shung. Anything else that is important? Owani Wofun has to identify what they want to do spiritually, because in that sign was where Oromila first performed Ebo to be able to save his home and his family. In that sign, Oromila had many enemies that were performing witchcraft to him and cursing his home. And he had to find a way to be able to defend his home without going and killing his enemies, because that had other ramifications. So what he did was he basically got divination performed for him, where Ifa told him to perform sacrifice with a yam. The yam got old. It became powder, and he used the powder to perform Ebo. And when he was done, he blew the powder out the door, and the powder traveled and killed his enemies. So this Odus says that the person, either has to have Ebo done on their behalf, or they need to be performing Ebo themselves, or they kind of have to see what they're going to do. They have to also be very careful with their cardiovascular health, the strength of their heart, and make sure they're avoiding any habits that could be detrimental to that.
All right, shout out to the best friends.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I guess I have to pick one of Noid Zombie's questions.
Man, this is a lot of charity going on, man. You got Juju, you got Ogumbi, man. This is a wild community, man. God bless.
All right, so let me go scroll. I got to find one here.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they've been communicating with each other.
That's awesome.
Noid, just leave another question because I don't want.
Or repaste the one that copy and paste the one that you had before.
Yeah, it's going to repopulate. It'll take me 10 minutes to find it.
Yeah, we won't stop the live until we answer it.
Yeah, so here we go. Hold on. Oh, hold on, wrong thing. That didn't play. It was supposed to play. I had something that was going to play, but hold on. I had a sound effect.
Oh man, Phil, you're getting
rusty.
It's too many buttons back there, man. It's too many sounds. If they heard all the other sounds you had on the keyboard, I don't know what our viewers would think. Whoa.
Oh, did you hear that or no?
Yeah, kind of very faintly.
Wow, it was the Step Brothers. Did we just become best friends?
Oh man, that's funny.
Yep. Anyway. All right, so let's get back to the questions here. All right. Boom.
I had my first reading recently. I was told that Heavenly Energies 6 to send me home, aka cut my life short. How do I
how do I protect myself?
Ideally the recommendations from the reading. Whoever told you that, ideally they should be providing not only the problem, but the solution. So you want to reach back out to that professional. If you feel like you're not getting the clarity that you need, get a reading from somebody who can provide the solutions, because that sounds intense.
All right, I think I fixed it.
Okay.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Great movie.
There you go. That's Ogunbi and Noid Zombie.
Very nice.
All right, on to the next question. By the way, they're in Memphis, so Noid Zombie.
Oh, man.
It's from Memphis.
Very nice.
We were just talking about Glorilla.
Shout out to Glow, man.
Yeah.
I think she's expecting a baby, yeah.
All right, here we go. Devin.
Blessings. If Ifa calls you to be a Baba in Ifa divination, does that mean you need to become a Babalawo? No one needs to become a Babalawo. There are Odus in the hand of Ifa, which is the only Odu that can recommend Ifa initiation or not, or persuade you towards it. But there's Odus, like I know guys that have Baba Yobe in the hand of Ifa that aren't Babalaos, and they're doing wonderfully. Ifa has to be a vocation at the end of the day, because every Odu tells everybody to be a Babalao. So if you don't like it, please don't become a Babalao. Do what you like. You might be a drummer, you might be a shell thrower, you might be a spiritist. Only do what you like, because that's what your Ori is telling you to do. You
know? Okay, here we go. This is from Whitney Williams.
Oh boy, what are your views on Ebo prices? What is the average? My views, I have no views on Ebo prices. I mean, every brother or sister, if they're doing the Ebo with the shell, has the right to put the price they like. Some people would say we're pricey, but I perform a very effective and a very good Ebo. It's taken me 9 years to perfect it, and we're still working on it. But some people say I do a pretty good Ebo. I mean, there is no average. I mean, the Ebo could be free or the Ebo could be $1,500. I mean, like, for example, if you have an Ebo that has multiple four-legged animals, that poor brother and the brothers that are sacrificing on your behalf, they need to be compensated. So anything between, I mean, there is no price. I mean, whatever money you have in your pocket. I mean, if they tell you the Ebo is $1 million, that's well priced. Now whether you're going to pay it or not is a completely different story. But any price the Awo puts on his work, doing just.
Okay, Noid says, can you Google Ifa Elele? That's all.
Yeah, I mean, in 3 decades, I haven't really interacted with that. And it might be a great source or a great topic, but, I haven't interacted with it.
All right, we got another one from Anna Avalos, sorry.
Thank you.
Garcia, here we go.
Okay. Thank you for all your wisdom. Thank you for watching. I'm a daughter of Shango, and my sign is Oturasa. Camino de las Momia. Any wisdom to share? Oh, man. I would highly recommend crowning Shango if you haven't. Because, there's I can't talk about it on here, but there's processes that happen in the Orisha process that are born in your Odu. It's an Odu of consecration. In that sign, Shango was a pharaoh. You know, you really have to consider what are you doing with your spiritual self. I highly recommend receiving a gungung because that's going to open the doors for everything else. But in that sign, Shango had 3 homes that he should not really be in. You know, the hospital, jail, and the cemetery. So Ifa says you have to find a way to avoid all 3. So you have to be very organized with your life, not be a daredevil, not be somebody that takes unnecessary risks or put yourself in harm's way, and have self-control, which is the hardest thing the child of Shango will ever attain. But if you were my daughter, I'd say crown Shango, please, with that Odu.
So Xavier left the super chat, but it's just a nice puppy dog. Can you see it? Oh, you can't see it.
Yeah, over there. There you go.
Wait,
if I can go. Oh,
go away. Go away, Joe.
I mean,
there we go.
I don't know if I deserve this courtesy. A wonderful emoji and funds, man. Please ask a question, but you're too kind. Thank you.
Okay, we got. I'm still answering the questions from when I asked what your favorite episode was. So
gosh.
I'm like 45 minutes
How many
behind.
people are watching right now?
Let me check right now. So we got about 108. I think you got up to about 116 at one point.
That's what's up.
If you're still watching, say what's up. Okay, this is from S. Jorge, sorry.
I am an uncrowned daughter of Shango. Ejobe Michael Fa. Any advice? I feel like I'm spinning lately. You have to crown Shango. The reason you're spinning is because remember that in that sign, Ori was on the floor rolling around. It says that the person has to consecrate Ori. So I highly recommend if you are going to move forward in the spirituality, please crown Shango. Please have your Babalawo consecrate your Ori icon. These are going to be 2 of the most important things you do. But the person needs to go through the processes that involve their head because without it, they don't know what a straight line forward is. They're always going in circles, and you're giving you're expressing the symptoms of spinning, you know, and that's pretty spot on when it comes to Ayobe because the head was spinning on the floor, and it was because it hadn't gone through Orisha yet. Make sure you receive a gungun before Orisha as well, please.
Okay, so Xavier just forgot to put it. He says, I'm Omo Elegwa, sign Erete Odi. Any advice?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Erete D. Oh, man. And that sign was where Eshu... I mean, if you look at Iretun Tedi, it's the Ifa of the king who didn't feel like, you know, he was worthy of the crown. It also says that the person trusts people too much. You know, in that sign, the servant stole the royal ring within the palace, and he hid, and Eshu, seeing what happened, actually, you know, caused the guards to find him. And before they stabbed him, before they were able to see who it was or whatnot, they got scared because Eshu turned into a dog and started barking at this box, right? And, you know, out of fear, the royal guard just shoved knives in it and stabbed the guy to death. And when they opened the box, he was dead and the ring was there. So the king was like, wow, the person I trusted the most was the person who had stolen from me, and Eshu was the one who revealed it. So if you're a son of Eshu, Ifa says you need to be very careful who you allow in your home. The only people that should, you know, exist in your home are your partner and children, if you have any. But you don't want people sleeping over at your house. You don't want people up in your business. You don't want people, the less people that go to your house, the better. Because it says that somebody's going to steal from you, and it might not be a material, it might be energy, you know, but Eshu's great there. It speaks positively of dogs, at least the dogs you can handle. So something to think about. If you have one, awesome. That means that dog belongs to Eshu as well.
All right, we're getting a lot of fluctuation in the comments here.
Get some water
guys.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Do you need another one, or you good?
Okay.
All right. We're about an hour in, so we're running out of time here, guys. So if you can,
I'd go all night if Phil would let me, but he doesn't let me.
You can do the super chats.
Doesn't let me.
So your question can get answered right away. But
sure.
Here we go. This is from Louis.
Aboru, could you speak to us about Elah and how to hold light during these challenging times? Oh, man. Elah is the ancestral spirituality of Orumila. That's why Orumila's name is Orumi Elah. In heaven, I can find my destiny or my ancestry. I mean, Elah is the energy that descends metaphysically upon the minds of the Babalawos. That's in the Odu Ogunda Osa. It manifested in the Odu Babao Yakumeji. I recommend that video. But how to maintain light in these challenging times? By looking within rather than out. You know, when you look out into the world, you'll only find darkness. But when you look within yourself, if you've assimilated Orumila, you will never find darkness. So focus on yourself. Focus on your family. Focus on what you can do for you. Because every head is a world. Every situation is different. So I would say that's the best way to not find yourself in darkness, by looking within and finding Orumila. So there we go. Okay, can you speak on Obesa? Obesa Fefe Salu Aye. Obesa is also known as Obesotito, where Ifa says honesty is the best policy. The person must be brutally honest, but it's not honesty to where you put yourself in harm's way or others' feelings in jeopardy. You do it in a way where you're able to get your point across without hurting others or yourself. Because Obesa can be brutally honest to the point where he creates enemies and will attract the Ayewo towards him. So be honest in a way that's productive, not detrimental. Create, don't destroy. Oh, man, whoa.
Shout out to Kenya Hutton. You see
Thank
that?
you,
It says
Kenya.
member for 20
months. Good.
months.
I think that's since the podcast started practically.
Since the beginning of our membership platform,
Yeah.
at least, yeah.
Yeah, so Baba Ogunamei. I highly recommend you watch the Ifa protocol video that's going to come out, because there's a wonderful bataki there.
That was a banger.
Yeah, that speaks about why the Babalawos are saluted by saying Aboru Aboya Aboshishe. But Baba Ogunameji is a lovely Odu because it speaks of the importance of family. They say that Baba Ogunameji was so loved by his students and his family that when he died, they mourned him for like a year, you know? And he went into the realm of the ancestors. He's one of the Mejis that actually died. He actually stayed with humanity to the point of his transition. So it was a very noble person. One of my favorite signs I ever studied. I can't wait to get to the part of the Meji series that speaks of him, which we got about another 5 Mejis before, 4 or 5. So I highly recommend that when that video comes out, watch it, because it's just going to be straight Ogunnamei. But just to give you a tidbit now, I mean, gosh, there's so much amazing information there. Be careful with knives. And Ogunnamei was where the knife was constructed, and it says the knife has no loyalty and has no owner. Just because you own a knife doesn't mean it won't cut you. So be careful with any type of surgical procedures, infections, etc.
Deep.
And try not to trust people too much, because the person you think you can trust or can handle will turn on you. Be careful with dogs. So.
All right.
Oh, man. It's a symphony, dog. I feel like it's like the song Trophies. How soon after Hand of Ifa should one crown? As soon as they want. As soon as they get the recommendations from their Hand of Ifa done. As soon as they receive a gungung, at that point you can receive your Orisha as soon as you have the funds. You don't have to wait. But it also depends on the person that's initiating you feeling comfortable enough to do so. Like, for example, Poroye, just to avoid remorse and all these different things, she has a prerequisite of people having to do a year of spiritual coaching with her before she'll even crown them. So that's another prerequisite for us, because we want to make sure that the person that's coming in is staying. Because when you go through the Orisha process and you realize all the work that goes into it, we're not doing this for money. We're doing this because we're passionate about it. We're doing it because we have an obligation. But if it was about money, we'd just focus on real estate, to be frank with you.
Yeah. 134
Oh, my gosh.
Watching.
Wow. It picks up. It's like a snowball.
right now.
You know?
Yeah, we got another one.
Oh, gosh. Boru, brother. Baba, is there a time limit to how long it takes for your Odu of Isefar Dafa to manifest? I would say 3 to 4 months. Hold on. I'm not done yet, Phil. Forgive me.
My fault.
Yeah. How long do taboos last? They last forever if they've been identified by Ifa. But I would always say if the Ebo is not done or done, the Odu will manifest positively or negatively within the first 3 to 4 months. I've noticed where you'll start, either seeing like a lot of ire or like, wow, this is really negative right now. But Ewo, once it's identified via the Hand of Ifa, or Itefa, that's forever. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't change. But I personally, within my practice, I don't mark taboos based on a transitional reading. I mean, I give recommendations. Like, for example, if someone comes with Ireteka, I'm going to be like, hey, be careful with fish. God forbid a bone can get lodged in your throat, or little things like that. It's more precautionary. But the ones that are stern and strict are the ones that Orumila identifies via initiation into him on any of its various levels.
Okay, all right. Hold on. There's a question up here. Can you give advice on how to deal with a partner who does not support our beliefs?
Advice? I mean, let's talk about what unifies us and not what divides us. I mean, if they're not going to believe in Ifa, they're not going to believe in Ifa, just like you're not going to believe in what they believe. But love, overcomes all. Where things become a little more tedious is if you guys procreate or have children, which religion are we going to expose and teach this child? I thank God for my wife. I don't even have to think about it. Like, if I have to clean my daughter or do a bowl or whatever I need to do for my kids, she's actually the one who's like, yo, we need to do this. But that's really where religion and relationships becomes an issue. But if that's not the case, I mean, don't talk about it, But some people will feel so empty by not being able to, express their spirituality and have it reciprocated by their partner. The relationship might not last. I've seen relationships last, even though there's different spiritualities involved. And I've seen others end very quickly. I mean, it really depends. Advice, that's the only thing I can say. Talk about what unifies and not what divides.
Okay. Oh, man. So many. So I'm picking a number between 1 and 60.
Oh, man, I got to go with 16. I got to go with Orula.
Okay, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, from Queen.
There we go. How common is it for one to make Ocha before hand of Ifa? It's all too common, and I'm not a fan of it at all. It shouldn't happen at all. Oh, wait, hold on.
Ah, my bad.
And or never receive hand of Ifa without having a crowned head. So what happened is unfortunately there was this little pseudo war that happened between Orisha and Babalawo, where the Babalawo was eliminated. I'll be frank with you, some of our ancestors could have had better character avoiding this. But at the same time, I don't think it was to the point where we needed to completely eliminate, because the other side might have been focused more on the money rather than the prestige. But that's where you saw the brother Oriates, who were a little unscrupulous, started, identifying Guardian Orisha with the Erindi Logung, or, performing the function of the Babalawo within the Orisha process unscrupulously, because at the end of the day, whoever does that is up to the house. But the Guardian Orisha and stuff like that, Osarosung, is very clear on that. But it's very common now, unfortunately. Like, some people will go to Orumila just to get their Guardian Orisha revealed and move on and, never interact with Ifa again. Ifa is not just an Orisha Dimu or a deity. He is necessary. Orumila is the whole religion. So without it, you're not really practicing Orisha either, because Orumila is the first Orisha you receive, technically. So it's common. It shouldn't be common. We are completely opposed, but to each his own. I mean, I'm not going to war over it either, because, people are going to do whatever they want. Some people are only going to do what benefits their pockets. So you have to analyze their behavior at that point.
All right, the last question is
God.
a super chat.
Oh, guys.
All right,
Oh,
here we
God.
go.
Oh, of course, the greatest thinker. Oh, the pimp and the pandas. This is going to haunt me.
Can we get a T-shirt made?
Absolutely not. The pimp and the panderer story is funny because I am a trafficking survivor, and Obeade is my Odu as a child of Shango. Wow, God bless you. Hold on.
We got another one right after that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't want to skip this one because this is intense. I can't see because of myself.
Oh.
Yeah, if you can move me out of the way.
Big head. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm really tired of looking at that guy. Is my Odu, child of Shango, wants to ask if my godfather is too far to perform sacrifice, what I could do. Well, wow. My regards to you for having the courage to even express that. My regards for surviving, such a horrible situation. It's epidemic, and Obeate speaks of this. I can't tell you what to do if your godfather is at a distance, but I can tell you that you should discuss with him what your options are. If you're doing something from Obeate, though, you should be in person. So I don't know what options he can provide. But, if you get to a point where you feel like you're not being responded to or not getting anything coherent, I mean, only you can make the decision if you're going to outsource certain services. So it's difficult in that regard as far as a distance standpoint. So, once again, lots of strength to you, and thank you for sharing, my regards.
All right, Heavy Hands came in with the last one.
Oh, great name. Abura Boye, son of Eshu, Otura Ira, Otura Gunda. Any general advice? Lately, I've been seeing foxes, that's wild, randomly where they don't normally appear, and it makes me feel good. Well, it's very hard to look at a fox and not feel great. Eshu there was Ogun's savior. I'll go ahead and do the pataki, being that this is the last one, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But in that Odu was where Yemaya and Olodumare had a son, and their son's name was Ogun. They had irreconcilable differences. They separated. Yemaya got custody of the boy, and Yemaya lived in the land of the swans, right? Ogun was raised amongst the swans, but the swans had a character that did not assimilate Ogun. The swans are a metaphor for a certain demographic, at least within the scripture. And, Ogun was becoming confused because he's like, I'm around these people, but I don't behave that way. Eshu saw what was happening and went and told Olodumare and said, hey, your son really needs your guidance here because he's being influenced by people of a different lifestyle that he's not meant to live. So Eshu set it up for Ogun to meet his father, and Ogun, under so much confusion, actually tried to kiss his father. And Olodumare became impatient and, really, deceived by what had occurred. And he decided to flood the earth. Ogun snapped out of it. Eshu hid him underground. Olodumare killed everybody, his baby moms, the swans, everybody. And when the sun came out the next day, Eshu pulled Ogun out of the dirt. But before he pulled him out fully, Olodumare was like, oh, you survived. All right. Well, now you can stay in that position and hold the world. So the Atlas archetype was born there. The guy that holds the world on his back.
Yeah.
That's why Otura Ira has to have a metal ball inside their Ogun, because in that sign is where Ogun, after the flood, sustained earth on his shoulders. That's why Otura Ira has to be very careful with their joints, lifting heavy weights, hernias, any of those things. But as far as Eshu there, Eshu was just trying to help his brother. But I think the message for the child of Eshu there is you can't help everybody. Eshu wanted to save the world, but he couldn't because there were things outside of his control. So the message for Otura Ira is save yourself, right? You're going to be born with people you can't influence. Sometimes your family is going to, maneuver in a way that you don't necessarily agree with. But you have to do you, If you're interested, Ifa wouldn't be a bad idea, The foxes are great because the story of where the fox was robbing everybody and Oshosi killed him. And when he brought the body, the people were like, we can't believe that the person we trusted the most was robbing us. That's where Zorro was first identified, where the person has a face of one thing but behaves in another way. You have to be careful with people deceiving you, because Otura Ira is constantly being deceived. Like, people show you one thing and act another way. But I love that Odu. I love them all. But there's certain Odus where you look at the literature, like the story of the fox was one of the first ones I learned, and it's never escaped me. And the fox is actually the oldest canine on Earth. It's older than the coyote. I'm not sure where it is with the wolf, though. But, it goes back that far. So the fox is nothing to be played with. So a lot of people looking like, yeah, the fox is soft, but it's really not. It's actually a very vicious animal. It'll rip your fingers off.
What does the fox say? Ding, 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 ding. Do you remember that?
Nah.
Come on. That was like the hugest viral song in
that's
2012.
I missed that alley-oop, Phil.
Come
That's
on,
enough out of you. You've said pimps and
man.
panderers way too much on this sacred channel. I can't do it. Guys, I love you, man. This has been wonderful.
Hey, don't forget, guys, again, 4-week virtual Ifa class. Leave a review. The comment is pinned to the top, but it's also going to be in the description. So make sure you follow the directions there. Leave a review and email us your verification. So, Joseph, any last words for our audience here?
I love doing these. To all the people first off, to all the people that tuned in, thank you for taking time away from your family and on this Sunday to participate with us. Maybe your family's watching as well. I love you all. To all of the people that super chatted, super humbled. Thank you for taking your funds and resources to invest in what we do. To all our members, it goes without saying, you're the best part of this channel. We're about to be at 100,000 subscribers. YouTube, I want my button. That thing, I'm going to sleep with it. It's going to be on my nightstand. It's a huge accomplishment. I want to thank my wife, even though we haven't gotten there yet, the support of my family, my children, my mom, the spirit of my grandmother, my elders in Ifa, my brothers in Ifa, my godsons, my godchildren. And hopefully the next time we do this, we're in six figures. You know what I'm saying? Things change up a little bit, Phil. And thank you to you, sir. For all that you do and the support your family provides to allow you to assist us as well. And, just thank you. Truly humbled. It's a lot of people.
Yes. All right, guys. Again, leave us a review. And if you haven't yet, and if you're on Spotify, if you're on iHeart or Apple Podcasts, the podcast is actually available on those outlets too. You know, we don't want you watching this episode while you're driving.
No, please no.
So
I don't. I listen.
You can listen in, and these are all uploaded there too. So make sure you drop a review and leave a like and a Spotify review as well. That all helps us out too, and definitely just share. And if you are in and on the first time here, this is a great community. You know, we best friends here just made with Noid Zombie.
Absolutely.
And they said this is like a meeting, so it's great.
Word.
So make sure you guys can go join a membership platform. It's real easy to do. Just click on that button directly under this video. It takes you to 3 different tiers. You can select what kind of membership you want. We have VIP. So if your question wasn't answered today, we have VIPs where it's just you guys. So it's very much more intimate. We can do video chats in there.
Sure.
You guys can call in live too. So make sure you join in that. So, all right, Joseph, sign us out, man.
See the light.